Awesome. Welcome to the August 4th Brave Voices celebration. I'm Kathy Davis, CEO of Davis Creative Publishing. Each guest you'll meet along our way has discovered that when one person is brave enough to speak up, someone else finds the courage to share their story. Together, we encourage, inspire, and transform the lives of others. Each Brave conversation is a part of our journey towards the first annual Brave Voices celebration, October 21st, 2026, where we're going to celebrate brave authors who have dared to share their voices. Brave is more than a conversation and a movement. It reminds us every voice matters, every story has the power to make a difference, and courage is contagious. This morning, I'd like to introduce you to one of our Brave voice compilers, Lynn, Lynnea. There, I already messed your voice up, your name
I
up.
know you know my
Lynnea,
name.
I know you. Lynnea Brumbaugh. As a trusted advisor, Dr. Lynnea helps multi-generational teams break through artificial harmony, eliminate burnout, and handle tough strategic shifts smoothly. Through her ExecutiveOS program and Enneagram expertise, she builds self-aware and adaptable leadership teams for companies like MetLife and Genex Consulting. Lynnea is the compiler of the Flow, Know, Grow anthology series. She's on her second book. It will launch coincidentally on October 21st, the date of the Brave Voices celebration. So we have two things to celebrate that day. So, Lynnea, tell us more about your forthcoming book, your second one in your series.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction, and thank you for inviting us in for these conversations. Um, this second book in the series, the Flow No Grow series, is called "Shaking on the Inside: How to Turn Your Scariest Moments into Sacred Success." Whew. And this book started with the idea of sacred success. There, like back in the day, which my daughter and I now call the troubles. Back in the day when I was going through it, um, I listened kind of nonstop to Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now.
Mhm.
Just no, actually, it might have been a newer thing. Anyway, I was listening to it kind of on repeat, and there was at least one beautiful quotation that just, I didn't know, sustained me every time I
Mhm.
heard it. And that is, do not let a mad world tell you that success is anything other than a successful present moment. When you're going through
That's a
it
great
and
one. Yeah.
yeah, you don't know, like, what is. Like, how am I going to do all the things that I have to do when I'm also undergoing whatever huge life transformations are asking us to go
Mhm.
through? Um, just remembering success is in this moment. It's in this moment. It's in this moment. The external stuff, it will do whatever it's going to do in this moment if I'm present. That's what changes my external reality. And that was really the spark for the book, and why that idea of sacred success sort of just came in from there.
Just the phrase shaking on the inside, I loved it as a title because who doesn't have those moments when you're in that messy middle or the troubles, whatever you want to
Mhm.
call it. And it's like, oh crap, now what do I do? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know any human being who has not um experience that sense of, like, it's too much for me, or I don't know how I'm going to handle this, and yet we find the courage. This is why I
Hmm.
so love your shaping of the telling our stories as brave, because it is incredibly courageous, first of all, to just do the things that we have to do to change our lives around so that we can become the people who are able to manage whatever life is manifesting. First of all, that's brave. And then to tell it, to shape it into a story, to shape it into ways that are like, okay, so for most of us, if we're going to tell a story, we have to, like, like do the inner work, the therapy that would like we have to tell the story with all of the pain and the rawness of it just to start to get it out. And that may not be the version that we that we want to publish.
Hmm.
That's the version that's in the journals. But eventually, what you offer people is the opportunity to dip into that rawness and then also have that perspective that says, okay, from now that I've done this brave thing, now that I have been present, now that I have come through into a level of sacred success, now let's share this. Maybe it'll be inspirational for you.
Well, and I love the fact that you've created the opportunity. What motivated you in the beginning to say, "Oh, I think I want to be a compiler. I want to invite people to come in and share a story."
Oh, well, that was like almost as soon as I was an author in one of the grit anthologies, is when I went, oh, I can do this. And this could be a really helpful. I feel like it kind of just dipped me right into my genius zone because, my PhD's in literature. I've taught writing and communication. I'm extremely comfortable with helping people work through writer's block, and I know how important it is to shape the story. Like that's been my whole career. So,
Mhm.
so it was already, I'm super comfortable in that sphere. And then add to that, I'm building a business. I want to grow my community. I want to invite conversations and achievements, and sharing that will help, as I'm growing my business to help my community. Like who's attracted to what I do? Well, they're
Mhm.
probably going to be the people who want to write a story for my book.
Yeah.
So it's and then of course for the authors, I could see how each individual gorgeous human being who becomes an author in one of my books gets to tell their story, and then that
Mhm.
helps other people. So all of the ripples and the connections in the community, I had a strong yes to it almost as soon as I dipped my toe in as an author.
I know originally, and I forget where I read this study, one of the universities did a study. People are buying books right now based on hope. They're looking for hope, solutions, and community. And you just said all three of those words and what
I
you,
did.
because as you were saying them, I was clicking them
Funny.
off in my head. And
Oh.
the fun part is that I don't know that the authors realize this. Some of them, I'm sure, do. But as they step into this environment and go through the program, it allows them to tell what I call our hero's journey story. We all walk along in life and we're tripping on that bump in the road. Sometimes the bumps are bigger and sometimes they're not as big as the person next door, but we all are going to have bumps at some point in life. And how do we, pick ourselves back up and brush ourselves off and keep moving and keep
Mhm.
going? And oftentimes it may be up a hill or maybe we're going to hit another bump. But that's what I love about these stories because, and it may have been in one of your books where we had an author say, "You're not going to believe, but somebody actually reached out to me that I have no clue who they are, but they
Mhm.
left me this message about how much their chapter inspired them and made them feel as if somebody understands."
Mhm.
And that's part of that even greater community that we don't realize we're building.
We don't even know about, which is like that's the definition of the importance of ripple effects. So much of the like big transformations that I have done, like some of them are through like people I actually know and have conversations with, and some of them are ideas that somebody had along the way that filtered their way into my brain, and I went, "Oh, that makes sense."
Hmm.
And whoever like developed that idea, put it out there, has no idea about my existence.
Have you gotten any kind of input from your authors as to how they feel it may have affected their lives or what they've seen
Yeah.
or some of the other stories in the book and how that's affected your authors?
Yeah, and I want to be like really like do the spectrum. For some people, you write it and it was lovely and it's done, and
Thank you
now
for
I
the
get to go on.
experience. Yeah.
I had the experience and I'm, I get to do whatever I'm going to do with it, and that's totally fine. And then way like on the other spectrum of that, the great bell curve
Hmm.
of life. there are people that even in the process of writing, and this is happening with this book that's not even out now, um, two or three of the authors who consistently are coming to the extra sessions that I offer because like that's what those sessions are
Hmm.
for. They're working through whatever their life stuff actually is. And the process of writing, and it's just going to make me cry, the process of writing and shaping the stories is providing the next steps in their actual lived experiences. And
So they're
that
manifesting it on the spot. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And then who knows what the ripple effects will be.
Yeah.
But we know that right now, just the process of writing it is healing and transforming and like making tangible differences in their lives even
Hmm.
before the publication happens, which is lovely.
That's awesome. You mentioned a little bit about this earlier, but what does the word brave mean to you? And how do you see that coming out in each of your authors?
Yeah, that's
I
a
don't need
good
them one by
question.
one, but just kind of as a group.
Yeah, yeah. I when I think of brave, I also think of the word courage. And it's brave is a better acronym. And they're connected. And when I think of bravery and of courage, I literally think of there's a heart energy, like courage, right? So there is this energy in the heart that rises up to meet the challenges. And that's brave. To me, that's
Mhm.
true bravery. And for many people who are working with some of the deeper childhood traumas that many people have, the very act of putting pen to paper, even if they did nothing else, would be astonishingly
Mhm.
courageous because that way that we break a taboo, our
Mhm.
family, our culture, somebody has told us, don't say that. And when we say it anyway, um, it's like world shattering and then world enlarging.
I
And
got goosebumps because I've seen it happen.
and
Yeah.
you've I mean, you're very clear about sharing your own experiences as to how important simply saying what is real for you
Mhm.
is for you. You've been very clear about that's like the foundation of why you're doing what you're doing. And I love and appreciate that. Every time my heart touches into that, I go, oh yeah, that makes total sense. This, of course, Kathy is doing the thing that she has experienced as so freeing for herself. And she's generously provided this platform for so many other people to do the same. It's lovely. It's yeah,
It
life-changing.
always reminds me of when I was very little, under the age of 5.
Hmm.
The Wizard of Oz, the movie, was coming out, and it scared the dickens out of me.
I
Those
used to go to
flying
hike the
monkeys.
chairs.
Yeah, I would have
Scary.
nightmares about those flying monkeys.
I know, right?
But the one character that was always comforting for me was the Cowardly Lion,
Hmm.
because just the fact that, he found a way to be brave. And
Yeah.
and that story just now hit me as we were talking, is that that's kind of part of the experience of what we walk people through, is to step over the parts that aren't all that scary, then, because we're going to be holding your hand and we're going to walk you through it. And it's allowing ourselves to let go. Part of the writing process I see is let go of the baggage that we don't
Mm,
need anymore, so we can
exactly.
and we can go dance down that yellow brick road, whatever we want that
Yeah.
yellow brick road to be.
Yeah. And we have to like we are going to be, you know, attacked by those flying monkeys within our psyches, like or whatever, like the kickback is going to
Yeah.
happen. And then finding the courage to go on past that. It's huge. It's very
Well,
huge.
it's during COVID, that's when we started noticing that people were that the themes of a lot of the books that were coming through here were offering hope. And I really thought, oh, we're past COVID, that'll kind of die down. No, it's still the main reason that people are buying books. And I thought, wow,
Yeah.
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 How have
We
your
still need hope.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How have your authors, what kind of, and you don't need to name names necessarily unless you want to, but how have you seen this transform their lives?
That is
Mm.
a very beautiful question. Um, one of my authors, who is also a client, um, and a wise, empathic soul, wrote, a story of her childhood and revealed truths about her mom. And you can pick up the book and read it. I'm not telling any secrets that she hasn't
Right.
told,
Yeah.
right? And she has told this story verbally in a couple of places because after I came out with the book and like had two or three or four different places where I would invite my authors to come and read and share and read out loud, and she showed up for like three of them. And so she read her story every time, and every time that she read her story out loud, it changed her
Mhm.
experience of her own story. And I know this because she would tell me, of course, in our client sessions, and then in private, what I would know is how this experience was bringing her up to a next level because people were commenting. Some people
Hmm.
liked her telling those, and some people did not, as you can
Yeah.
imagine. And when we do all of the hardest work that we do, which is always that brave work of being who we are, in
Hmm.
the face of perhaps families or communities that didn't see who we were, then I don't know. It's like I watch like a year out, she's just in an entirely different place now, which is
And as you were talking, I got the Wonder Woman image in my mind because quite often, you're stepping into your power when
yes,
you can get these stories out onto paper. That puts you in charge of that story,
yes,
and it's then up to you to determine what you're going to do with that. And every time you tell it, I feel it just recharges you and
yes.
gives you that more power that you've overcome this moment because you told it the way you wanted to tell it. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is very, very powerful. And just like personally, I did a version of the story that I'm telling for Mujeres Rising. I did a verbal storytelling of that with a community recently, and it was so good to just feel heard. And I could be silly and jokey and serious and dramatic and all the things. I had shaped the story the way I experienced it. And it was freeing and really lovely. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, I would say that I myself have also experienced that. Yeah.
We had one author many years ago that was in one of our anthologies. She was working for a larger company, corporation,
Hmm.
wrote a chapter in one of the anthologies. A few months later, and this was during COVID, a few
Hmm.
months later, quit her job and started her own company. And then called and said, I'm ready to write my full book. And still to this day has her company, the new one that she had started. And so major things happen when you tell your stories.
Truly,
Yeah.
truly.
You're
And that
letting,
reminds
yeah.
me, sorry, one of my authors wrote a chapter because he was also already writing his big book, which is now getting ready to come out. So he got that experience of being
Yeah.
very professionally published. And I think it was really nourishing for him to keep pushing through to this
Hmm.
project of his own too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. What has been your biggest experience? Is there anything that you would change as you reflect back on all the fun that we've had over the last
Oh,
how many
let's
years?
see. Would I change anything? I think that the things that I would change are the refinements to how I'm going forward. So it's not as though I would change anything that has happened in the past because those are the things that, like, wherever the glitches were, I'm like, okay, so this would be helpful. Okay, so now I can do this next time. And I just feel like the way that I talk about the books, approach people to be in them, um, and, I guess it feels a lot less pressurized.
Mhm.
Like it's not this sort of make or break thing that that needs to be successful. I I I feel like
Well, no, and
Hmm.
the one thing I notice about your books that I love is that you have quite a dichotomy of authors. You'll
Yes.
have left brain logic people
Hmm.
who stay in
Hmm.
that that funnel.
That's where
Um,
I go. Hmm.
yep. And then you'll also have those that are the for lack of better words, the highly emotional that they
Hmm.
want to talk about their emotions. They want to
Yes.
share them and get them out.
Yes.
And then in between is that whole other mix of,
Hmm.
wherever you fit in. So it's an opportunity, I think, for the left brain people to get a touch of what it's like to share their feelings
Yes.
as much as they can at that point.
Hmm. Hmm.
But then I've also noticed that those are the people that sometimes come back
Yes.
and want to share a little bit more. Okay, I did it the first time, and I think I could do it the second time. Yeah. So it's always fun. And as an aside, we've mentioned the word brave a couple times, and I realize I've never mentioned what the BRAVE acronym
Oh,
stands
yes.
for. And it does talk about the five principles and the five ways that you can be brave. So B is be bold and bodacious. The R is recognize that your voice matters. A is amplify your authentic truth. V is value yourself and your worth. And
Mhm.
E is elevate your message and reach.
Yeah.
So, of those acronyms, I've seen each of those represented in your authors
Yes.
at one point or another. Which
Yeah.
is the one that rings most true for you?
Oh, let's see. Let me just, I'm going to put a cheat sheet. I just took a screenshot of this recently,
Yeah.
so I can really look at it. I think it is, I believe that it is probably amplifying my authentic truth. Um, yeah, that's the one that, when I think about how I would have the sort of secret dreams and secret hopes, that nobody knew about because I was afraid to talk about them because it was going
Hmm.
to change my life. And then I changed my life and I started talking about them. And this anthology is the result of that. And then people get to continue to do that. So just the relief of living my own truth authentically and unapologetically, it feels really good.
That sounds like that was a big lesson.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Big lifelong lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if people are in our audience that are considering writing a chapter
Hmm.
or being a compiler and stepping
Hmm.
into that role,
Sure.
are there any last words of wisdom to a business owner? Because quite often I see that the business owners are the ones that become the compilers.
Yes.
What is any last words of wisdom that you might have for that business owner considering becoming a compiler?
I would say explore it for real, like take it seriously. And like if your gut says, I think this might be good. I always say trust your gut. It's a big reach, it's a big commitment, it's scary, and and like stretching yourself to actually do the thing. Like I found and continue to find it to be extremely inspirational, motivating, and um, yeah, I would say. I would never say just do it because I don't, that's not how I think, but I would say definitely explore it and trust your gut.
No, I appreciate that. And as I think about our conversation, that I want to thank you for being here today and letting us have fun and play this little game of conversation and being brave. Do want to let our listeners know that your contact information will be in our post
Oh, thank you.
as we're going to post these out in the social media world. And if there's any last words of wisdom for the author who's
Mm.
approaching the thought of, I may not be ready to write my whole book, but I'm ready to tell at least one story. What would you say
I
to
would
people?
say do just do it. Like most of the compilers, find the person with the project that's right for you,
Mhm.
obviously. And most of the compilers are going to make it possible financially, and in terms of time and support for you to actually do this thing that you want to do. And if it's not the right time, totally cool. When it is the right time, just keep on being tenacious about it. Like,
Mhm.
this is something that I deserve and want to do. And the rewards are pretty astonishing in terms of community, in terms of building yourself up, in terms of just being a best-selling author. Hello. That's amazing.
It gives you an edge up. If people are considering two or three different people and you're the one that has the published book,
And
odds
especially just
show that you're going to be
on
called.
social media saying I'm a #1 international best-selling author.
Mhm.
I mentioned this in the video that I made about my project because it's true. Like, I feel like that holds more weight with an initial kind of glance over than the PhD. Because it says, oh, you're not just like smarter researcher or whatever, you're out there. So
You're a
yeah,
real person.
I'm
Yeah.
a real person telling
Yeah.
real thing. Yes,
You can
exactly.
talk to you can talk to Lynnea, really, You
Yeah,
can. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much for bringing out your brave today. I
Oh,
appreciate that.
Kathy, thank you for providing the space for so many of us to do
Yeah.
that, for real.
And I do want to remind you that we're going to make sure everyone gets the link also, that if they want to be in your next anthology, that they'll
Oh,
get a place
yes.
for them
Should
to
we
bring
do
that
we
up.
preview what the basic topic of it is?
Please do. That's a
Like,
great
this is
way.
the big reveal.
Yeah.
So I don't have the exact title yet, but I like the idea of the shaking. So it's still the Flow No Go series. I want it to be something like Shake It Up, and I want it to be focused on something that has to do with what it takes to be a creative, innovative person, especially like, let's say in your business. How does
Mhm.
innovation happen? Not through AI, by the way. Like, that is not going to bring innovation. It's going to help. Like, I have nothing against AI. I use it, whatever, whatever. But that is not the place where we become creative. We become creative when we are willing to literally shake up the things that are no longer serving. And that takes some bravery too. So it's something like that.
Yeah. Again, another goosebump moment. So there's some truth in all of that in there. I
Nice.
know that.
Nice.
And there we'll have at least a link, if not a QR code that people can follow to learn more.
Oh,
And
sweet.
yeah, I want to thank our audience for being with us today. And I hope that they too take the next step and bring out their own brave.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Kathy.
Lene.
Bye.
Bye-bye.